Here's what you were never told in school. There is no surface on Jupiter, not a thin one, not a hard one, not even a liquid one you could theoretically land on. The planet just stops being atmosphere and starts being something else. And there is no line, no moment, no threshold you cross and think, okay, now I'm inside Jupiter. The transition is completely invisible, which is somehow the most disorienting thing I learned about a planet I thought I understood. Because we've been staring at Jupiter for 400 years, 400 years. And the answer to what's actually in there was basically we made our best guess and then we sent something and the guess was wrong. Right. So let's go through this properly because every single layer of Jupiter, once you actually look at what the missions came back with, is stranger than the one above it. And I do mean every layer. Start with the clouds. Those bands, the orange and white and brown stripes that make Jupiter look like a marble from space, those are real. Pioneer 10 and 11 flew by in 1973 and 1974 and sent back the first close images. And yes, the storms are real. The banding is real. The great red spot is absolutely real. But here's the thing about those clouds. They are, cosmically speaking, almost irrelevant. The cloud layer is somewhere between 50 and 70 kilometers deep, which sounds like a lot until you realize that Jupiter's radius is 71,492 kilometers. The clouds are a rounding error. They're the skin on a grape. Everything that actually makes Jupiter what it is exists below them in a region we couldn't directly observe until we actually sent something in. And even then, we only got so far. That something was the Galileo probe. December 7th, 1995. They dropped a probe into Jupiter's atmosphere, a half-ton titanium capsule, and it survived for 57 minutes before the pressure crushed it. 57 minutes. And in that time, it descended about 160 kilometers below the visible cloud layer and returned the only direct measurements we have of Jupiter's interior atmosphere. One probe. 57 minutes. That is the sum total of everything we know from direct observation below those clouds. The rest is inference, modeling, and the data Juno has been beaming back since 2016. I want you to hold that number in your head, 57 minutes, because we're about to talk about what exists below that, and it goes 60,000 kilometers deep. Okay, so below the cloud layer, the atmosphere thickens. Hydrogen and helium mostly, but denser, then denser, then denser still. And here's where the textbook model starts to quietly fall apart, because you were probably taught that Jupiter is a gas giant. All gas, no liquid, just atmosphere all the way down to some kind of rocky core. That's not what's in there. What's in there is an ocean, a liquid hydrogen ocean approximately 40,000 kilometers deep. That's roughly 3 times the diameter of Earth, and it's made of liquid hydrogen. And the reason we call Jupiter a gas giant at all is because from the outside, the transition is seamless. The atmosphere just gets thicker and thicker until it is no longer a gas, no surface, no splash, just liquid, suddenly. And I know that sounds weird, but you can probably get your head around it. Hydrogen is simple. It liquefies under pressure. Fine. What you probably cannot get your head around is what happens about 20,000 kilometers deeper, when that liquid hydrogen gets squeezed hard enough. We're talking pressures roughly 3 million times the atmospheric pressure you feel standing outside right now. And it stops being a normal liquid and starts doing something that liquid hydrogen has absolutely no business doing. It starts conducting electricity. Think about what that means for a second. Hydrogen is the simplest atom in the universe. One proton, one electron, and when you compress it hard enough, the electrons get squeezed so close together they can no longer stay attached to their individual atoms. They become free. They flow. The hydrogen is still liquid, still moves like a liquid, still behaves like a liquid. But now electrons are flowing through it the way they flow through copper wire. We call it metallic hydrogen, and it essentially does not exist anywhere in your daily experience. You cannot make it in a lab. You cannot hold it. And here's why that matters beyond just being deeply strange. That metallic hydrogen layer, churning and flowing with free electrons as Jupiter rotates, that's where Jupiter's magnetic field comes from. Not from a solid iron core like Earth's, from a liquid metal planet. Jupiter's magnetic field is 20,000 times stronger than Earth's. Its magnetosphere extends 600 to 700 million kilometers toward the Sun. If you could see it from Earth, it would be larger than the full moon in the sky. And it's being generated by a flowing river of liquid metallic hydrogen, bigger than the Earth itself. That's the engine. That's what's in there. Okay, if you're still here and your internal model of the solar system hasn't completely restructured itself, hit subscribe, because we go this deep every single week. The fuzzy core is next, and honestly, it's the part I had to read 3 times before I accepted it. So, the core. For a long time, the model was simple. Rocky core, probably 10 to 15 times the mass of Earth, hard and compact at the center, surrounded by metallic hydrogen, surrounded by liquid hydrogen, surrounded by atmosphere, clean, layered, like a cosmic onion. Then Juno arrived, July 4th, 2016. Yes, July 4th, the engineers planned that. And it started mapping Jupiter's gravitational field with more precision than anything that had come before. And what Juno found was that the core is not a compact, hard ball at the center. It's diffuse, spread out, smeared across roughly 50% of Jupiter's radius. That's a region 70,000 kilometers wide. Scientists started calling it the fuzzy core, and that is genuinely the scientific term. A fuzzy core on a planet the size of Jupiter. What that actually means is that there's no clean boundary between the metallic hydrogen and the core material. It's all mixed together. Rock, metal, hydrogen, exotic compounds we don't have names for, in a kind of slow-motion soup that has been redistributing itself since the planet formed. No hard surface, no distinct layers at the bottom, just fuzz. And here's the part that actually breaks my brain. The leading theory for why it's fuzzy involves a collision. Early in the solar system's history, something roughly 10 times the mass of Earth, a protoplanet, a fully formed rocky world, apparently hit Jupiter head-on at around tens of kilometers per second. And instead of breaking Jupiter apart, which it absolutely should have done to any smaller body, Jupiter just absorbed it, dissolved it, spread it through the interior. Simulations show the impact would have disrupted a previously compact core and scattered the material outward, which perfectly explains the fuzzy structure Juno detected. They ran the simulations. The fuzzy core formed. That's the leading model, and it means that somewhere inside Jupiter, dissolved like salt in water, there may be the remnants of an entire rocky planet that no longer exists. Look, here's what I keep coming back to. We have been staring at Jupiter since Galileo pointed a telescope at it in 1610. Over 4 centuries of observation. And the answer to what is this planet made of, actually, at the fundamental level, is we sent 4 spacecraft past it, we dropped 1 probe into it, we put an orbiter around it, And we still have open questions about the interior structure of the largest object in our solar system besides the Sun. Juno is still up there, still orbiting, still sending data. The fuzzy core model is 2022 science. The metallic hydrogen detection, confirmed at the pressures Jupiter produces, is ongoing refinement work. This is not history. This is active, right now. Scientists arguing at conferences science about a planet you learned the name of when you were 5 years old. That's what I find genuinely staggering about Jupiter. Not the scale. The scale is almost too big to feel real. It's that we live in a solar system with a planet this close, this visible, this permanent in our night sky, and it still has the nerve to be this strange inside. A planet with no surface, an ocean bigger than Earth 3 times over, a layer of liquid metal generating a magnetic field you could fit the sun inside, a dissolved ghost of another world smeared through its core. Jupiter is not a gas giant. It's a mystery in a very large container, and we are, very slowly, figuring it out. Before we wrap, drop a comment and tell me, what part of this genuinely broke your model of what a planet's supposed to be?